Welcome to the Learning Outcomes core lesson, Assessing Student Learning Outcomes. To learn about assessing student outcomes, we're going to visit the campus of Data Tech. Assessment is defined as the ongoing process of establishing clear, measurable, expected outcomes of student learning. Let's look at our audiences a little more closely. Each audience has a place within the Data Tech community, and we can find them here in Campus Life Hall. First, let's talk about the internal audiences. Faculty and staff are one audience. Assessment can help them to improve their teaching and co-curricular activities and alert them to their strengths and weaknesses. Program managers are another audience. They use assessment results to determine whether particular programs are accomplishing their intended outcomes. Other external audiences include taxpayers, funders, legislators, and accrediting agencies. Let's talk for a moment about the two different types of assessment, formative and summative. Formative assessment takes place in the learning environment during the course or class. The interaction between faculty and students and subsequent feedback along the way constitutes formative assessment. This process helps both the student and the faculty member to improve performance by addressing confusions and reinforcing good practice. Examples of high-stakes assessments are professional licensure exams and exit exams that students must pass to successfully complete a program or graduate. A more in-depth assessment method is the use of rubrics. Rubrics are scoring guides that define expectations for student learning. They can also motivate students by clarifying faculty expectations, defining clear targets for learning, and can help students to evaluate their own work and learning. Like any other type of institutional research activity, planning for assessment brings all the pieces together. It's important to identify the principles to guide the assessment, like engaging faculty and students, maintaining participants' confidentiality. We'll cover some basic terms and variable names that you are likely to encounter in a typical longitudinal study. Let's start with identifiers. ID is a unique numerical student identifier. It's key to tracking individual students within a cohort. First time in college is an indicator that the student is in college for the first time. Term code is an indicator of the academic term for a group of data. It's important to keep the following in mind throughout the whole process. First, know where you're headed with regard to your institution's mission, goals, and learning and student developmental outcomes. Second, know what you want to accomplish with assessment and the impact on external accountability. Third, identify how you will analyze the data, how the results will be used, and which assessment methods you will use. All of these feed into one another in an ongoing process. Being aware of these elements can help you define both the learning outcomes you expect students to achieve as a result of their educational experience and the ways in which you will determine whether they have succeeded. We're going to follow our cohort bus to the demographic way station to learn about adding demographic data to your study, such as age, gender, or ethnicity. This can give you a wealth of information about how to target interventions to specific populations. This has been the Learning Outcomes core lesson, Assessing Student Learning Outcomes. For more information, please see the paper for this core lesson. Please proceed to the post-test for this lesson.